Know what you'd like to talk about. We got Antonio in the house. Oh my gosh. And Helen. Wow. There are some amazing people here. Holy crap. I am so excited. Happy Monday, everyone.
If I enable my microphone on this Instagram live, will it mess with our audio feed?
No, you should definitely do that.
Beautiful.
All right.
Yes.
So happy Monday. Welcome to Divine Masculine Mondays. It's Monday somewhere in the world, and I'm so happy to have all of you here with me today. I am so excited. There's so much beautiful energy here. We have Antonio Ravello, one of the musicians and one of my oldest friends who I literally went through 9/11 with, through New York University with, through Tisch with. We have, man, been through ups and downs. And also Helen, one of my wife's best friends, who's become a dear friend of mine, who's an incredible writer, author, is here, and Jolt Bonnier, a classical pianist. I mean, we have powerhouses in the room. But one of the most exciting things is that one of my oldest friends from New York, it's actually not true. Turn your volume all the way down on your mic, on your phone. It's not one of my oldest friends. It's one of my oldest friends in my new life in New York, which is when I graduated from the nightlife and got into healing and wellness. This person came across my path. I still hear a little bit of an echo, just so you know. So you may either want to slide your phone over or
Probably gonna move my mic a little bit.
Okay, cool. We just want to give everyone the best experience possible. So if you're here, I want to say welcome and to please join us in the conversation. You are a part of the conversation. And this is what we are talking about today. And I am very excited to have our very special guest, Tomas Virgadula. Tomas, how are you doing today?
I could see myself like 3 times through all these monitors, which is very interesting. I'm doing great. I mean, here I am on this with you. A little out of my element. I'm in my best friend in the whole world since we were 6 years old. He had a baby 4 months ago. He's on paternity leave, so I'm over here hanging out for a couple of days, getting to hang with Jeremy, his son, and my best friend growing up. We live in the same city. We get to be here, and I get to do this here with you. So there's a lot of love, a lot of good vibes happening on this Monday morning afternoon for me. So
Amen.
yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. And, I was telling everybody a little bit about how we met. But I just want to say it was at a moment when I really decided that I was no longer going to destroy myself. I was no longer going to allow self-sabotage to take over or all the negative stuff in my life, and I was going to seek a power greater than myself. So I really sought out people in my life to help me find healing and recovery, and I sought out coaches and groups, and inside one of these places, I connected with this angel. As we do, we are our souls cross paths at times for whatever reason, and we don't always know, and sometimes the reason is revealed to us later. And that's one of those things with Tomas, and we continue to cross paths in our lives and stay in touch throughout the whole thing. But it's really amazing, a beautiful story. And so I just am very excited to have you here, Tomas. And we've been through a lot of spaces together. So we went to NYU we both went to NYU. We were both actors there. We were both in experimental theater. We've both done clowning. We've both traveled the world. We both been actors. We've had the same agent. We had the same voiceover agent for a while, commercial agent. When I was doing the Dell commercials 20 years ago, I was working with Bonnie Shamovsky at Abrams Artists, and Tomas was also with Bonnie. And so it's just this wild world. I love Abrams Artists and the work they did, and everyone there. And it's cool how it connects. And New York City is one of those centers of the world where you can just run into anyone. And I ran into this total stranger, but we had all this stuff in common. And if that wasn't enough, what is it? 6 years later, we both are like while we totally embrace, still performing and creativity in our lives, which we'll talk about more, we've both found ourselves in the space of service inside of coaching. And so I would love to talk a little bit. Tomas and I'm going to let him talk. I've been doing a lot of talking. but
No, this is great. I like
we're going to be
listening.
talking about coaching and what got us there, and also what we've really learned through that. So we've both been through a lot. We've both really put our bodies and minds through a lot, and we've come out on the other side, and we're both committed to helping other individuals do the same. So really leading with their hearts, and actually how to slow down in this culture of faster, harder, tougher, stronger, and actually learning to slow down and find the magic inside of that. Kind of how to work smarter rather than harder, and undo all the lies and bullshit that we've been told as men or as women in these masculine societies, that we have to be a certain way. So we're just going to destroy all of that today, and we're going to start with Tomas. And what had you move to New York City to pursue acting?
Yeah. First of all, that was beautiful, man. You get me emotional. Just we haven't even started. Um, what did I initially
What
move
led
to?
you to theater that got you to where you are today, to a coach?
What got me to theater was that first bite of being on stage and being able to affect that many people,
Mm.
and the laughter, the energy. I don't know, when I was 12, 13, I said I want this, that this is this.
Mm.
And I chased that to NYU in New York City at 18. Lived in New York 11 years now. And that was it. And it's so funny because I'm in such a space now this past year, but I knew within 2 weeks, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to be an actor. I just love making people laugh, making people feel good. And then I've been joking that it then took me 10 years to make a decision to like choose something else. But what got me to theater was that I loved the vibrancy. I loved other actors. I loved performing. That I don't think there is any energy that comes close to like live theater in that way. And you get pieces of it, but actually I have found an energy that gets close to that, because really what I've realized in pursuing theater, the juice that I loved the most was really human connection,
Mm.
and I guess presence,
Mm.
and like true human connection. It really
So
is.
how did so how did you get into that? So you grew up. I'm just gonna. So I know Tomas
Yeah,
grew up in
please.
Connecticut, but he grew up. If you couldn't tell by his last name, there's some strong cultural heritage in his family,
Yeah.
and he grew up in the Northeast, and so inside of like Italian culture, also Puerto Rican.
I'm Puerto Rican, German, Northern Italian, and Sicilian, and you
Yeah.
have to distinguish for the Italians. They
God
need to
bless you.
know. They need to know.
Yeah,
you
there's
know.
a lot of Catholic in there too. So so how did you get from that space into feeling the permission as a man in your time to go into theater, to follow like human connection for a living? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
how did you convince your parents? I know how I did, but like, how did you?
that was easy.
And what was the like impetus, right? You got a big brother, you had that culture of sports and that like masculine, like, you know. So how'd you get from
Yeah,
there to
well,
here?
a little on that, because that's great. I classify myself now as like a fake Latino from Connecticut. I grew up the only kind of brown kid in a town that was 97% white. So
Hmm.
I was known as the Mexican kid. It wasn't even racism back then. They didn't know, and they didn't
Hmm.
have the energy to know more. And so I grew up thinking I was very other, different, and theater was an instant identifier. Like, oh, I'm going to be the guy who does this. An
Hmm.
instant kind of credibility, and like this, oh, I can get down with this guy. He's really good at that. So that was like my instant thing to be really good at and that I loved. And it's so funny because then I came to New York and I was like, I don't speak Spanish. I found out at 22 years old there's an accent over the A in my name. I was like, what? You didn't tell me this, you know? The true story is my name was Thomas, and my mom had the nurse come back to the delivery room and changed my birth certificate to Tomas when my father was out of the room. And it took him like three years to forgive my mom.
Oh
But
my God.
I'm definitely a Tomas, that's for sure. Um, and then kind of what you said, like the impotence into like theater. Explain more about what you'd like to specifically have me get at.
Yeah, like how you got from like being in a sports male Italian culture to following your heart. Like how did you feel permission? Was that how you were raised? What allowed you to make that move?
I think what allowed
I
me
mean,
is
I
I
grew up. Let me just say one more thing, because
yeah.
I went to the high all boys school in Tennessee. So me and I played sports too. So me choosing theater was a little tough, and doing that professionally, people are like, "What the like? What do you do?" First of all, why are you leaving the South? Why are you moving to New York? And why are you going into theater? That's like the worst profession you could choose for yourself.
Yeah, no, okay, this is okay. I got a little clearer now. It is because I too went to an all guys Catholic school. We were, number one, two, three, or four in football,
Yeah,
and I was the theater kid. And I mean, how I got through it is I did sports
another
all my
reason why we're
life.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I did sports all my life. I loved it. I love competing. I
Mm-hmm.
love competition. And but what that looked like, I was also the leads in the plays, and I just loved working at something. And I
Mm-hmm.
had that same attitude towards theater. Like I want to be the best. I want to be at the top, and I could do that in this space. And because I was, I don't know, doing it well and passionately and big, people respected that almost. Like I was telling this story yesterday, actually, funny enough. The entire football team would come to my show, to opening night, the theater, and they'd be ruckus in the crowd, like "Whoa!" And then I'd go, Friday night outside of theater season and I would lead all the chants at the football games. So
Were you a
I was very
cheerleader?
a cheerleader in the crowd. Yes, I
Okay.
would lose my voice at every football game. So I mean, that's kind of how I had both of that.
Because I was
But
gonna say I was actually a cheerleader.
yeah. But I also, in high school, at an all guys like lacrosse and football school and swimming school, I was the captain of the ultimate frisbee team.
Yeah, you were.
I was the captain of the ultimate frisbee team, and the lead in the plays. And one because I think it's very fitting to what we're talking about here. I remember my senior year, my mom got me a Letterman jacket, and I was like, cool, that yeah, and maybe like put ultimate, that frisbee, that'd be cool. She got me a Letterman jacket. On the back said drama, and I was like, what is this? She's like, you're the plays, you'll love this. I was like, this is, Mom, I love you. This is I'm never going to wear this jacket. Because the thought, I was like, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? I couldn't go that far with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't confident enough in
So your
who I
mom was
was.
actually pretty committed. So you actually had a mother that allowed that. How'd your dad feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was all for it. I think she
Mm.
wanted this for me maybe more than me at some points, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's they believed in it because I believed in it so emphatically.
Hmm.
I mean, I was the dude at our 3, 4 years old Gianelli's. We're singing about Noah's Ark at the all, with the nuns, and they're like, "Who's that voice towering over everyone?" And it was me at like 4 years old, and I just was that. I'm energetic, I'm loud, and I bring that to everything I do, and I'm very passionate, and I'm very involved and very committed into whatever I decide to put my energy into. And with acting, I mean, once I realized the access and like just the instant, this is the path, it was like blinders. It was like
Mm.
I knew. I made a decision at like 14. I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. So I'm going to enjoy high school. I'm going to do sports. I'm going to do this and this, because acting I'm going to do forever. So I was able to kind of like um not catalog, compartmentalize. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this forever. So let me live my life and have this experience of high school and
Mm.
do this while doing my theater. And I did a lot of theater in school, did a lot of theater outside of school. So was always doing that, was always doing this. I'm very physically kinetic learner. My body knows what I'm experiencing before my mind.
Hmm.
So all
I
of
would
that.
actually argue that a lot of us are. We just,
Yeah.
some of us are more connected to our bodies. And once you figure it out, you're like, oh, snap, this is where it's at. It's
Yeah.
way easier to learn that way, right?
Yeah, with
Embodying
acting,
something.
it was like, can we get out of the script reading? Can we just get on? Can we get on our feet? I
Yeah.
learned this on my feet, you
Yeah.
know, and
And once it's in your body, then actually the script too, once that's in your body, that comes alive in a whole new way
yeah.
too.
But to speak, like, how did I get my parents on board? Is, I mean, you could look in my eyes, and you believed in my belief, you know, and there was nothing else I could have done that I wouldn't have been miserable at or just hated. You know, I've never worked a 9 to 5. I
Yeah.
just, because if I'm not here with it, I can't do it.
Mm.
And that was it. So I was 17, 18 years old. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and do this. And then I think the affirmation on that, I got into PACE, which is actually my dream school. And then I
Mm.
got into NYU, which was just like a pipeline thing. I was like, everyone applies to NYU. You got to do that. And I got into NYU, and
Wow.
my parents were like, okay, maybe that means something too. You know what I mean? My mom's only rule, not like you can't go to school for theater. My mom had 2 rules. You have to get a degree. So there's no conservatory. You have to have something behind it,
Mm.
and you have to stay east of the Mississippi.
That's so funny.
Those were her 2
That's
rules.
very. My mom said that too. Actually, I wasn't allowed to go west of the Mississippi specifically, so that's
Yeah,
funny.
she didn't want me falling in love with California, not coming back. She's a smart lady, you know. And to her credit, I've loved New York, and I've been here 11 years. So 2-hour drive, 2.5 with traffic
In
back
New
home.
York.
Lights will inspire you.
Yes. Go, mom. Mama Virgadula, Mama V.
No, Mama Melendez, Dr. Melendez. She
Oh,
kept her
wow.
maiden name.
Oh, snap. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I stand corrected, Dr. Melendez.
My
Mama
my
M.
mother, she was a
Mama
feminist
Melendez.
before it was cool to be a feminist.
Hell
She is
yeah. We've got to get
yeah.
our moms together then. It's official. You've met my mom, but I haven't met yours, dude. So what's
My
up with
mom's a
that?
boss. Yeah, she's great. And my dad, I was blessed. I was blessed
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, you really are. Well, be careful what you ask for, because I saw these guys like we're renting a house in Rhinebeck, and
Ben,
I saw these.
I gotta interrupt you. I thought you had like my mom on the other line. Be careful what you ask for, Dr.
We've got Dr.
Melendez.
Melinda right here on the line.
I'm sorry. I was like, no.
No, it's okay. It's great. I noticed these workers clearing everyone's gutters on the houses on
Yeah.
either side of mine that this guy owns, and he owns ours as well. And so I just asked him like, hey, I see these guys cleaning. Like, could they do ours? Is that included? He didn't even respond. A man suddenly appeared next to me on a ladder with the blowers. So it's just kind of funny experience
Nice.
I'm having right now. So just wanted to drop you all in on that. So you really, your parents were encouraging of that. You went after your dreams. You got into NYU, which is amazing. And then how'd you get from there to coaching?
Whew.
How did you end up following? I mean, you've clearly followed your heart quite a bit.
Yeah.
But what was really the pathway to getting where you are today? How old are you now?
29. I'll turn 30 in
29.
February.
Amazing. So you've
Yeah.
I mean, Tomas has lived multiple lives, but I'll ask you some other more challenging questions later. But how did you get from
Yeah.
acting to where you are now?
Yeah,
Within the theater.
let's get into
So you
it.
got into NYU, you went to NYU, and then what happened?
COVID, for all it's been the biggest internal blessing of my life, for sure. But one thing you just said, lived many lives. I always tell people, I feel like I have an old soul, but I also I feel like an 87-year-old man when you realize, life, you can't take it too seriously. So they have that like childlike energy, like that second childhood as an old man. That's like I feel like is the core of my being. Is that
Mm,
like 87-year-old grandpa realizing life is too short. What Let's enjoy it and let's be a kid. I
mm-hmm.
feel like that's my energy. But yeah, where does it begin? COVID, lost all my jobs on the same day. I was in London, and then we're supposed to fly to Italy on March 9th, March 10th. Italy shuts its borders. This is all happening. Everyone's got a version of this story. And I lose all my jobs by March 12th. At this point, this is my favorite part. This is my lead. I was a birthday party clown for
Yes.
years.
Yes. If you weren't
Best.
listening, Tomas was a birthday party clown. Are you
And
back?
I was.
If you're listening, just say yes in the comments so just we know you're with us, okay?
Oh, and I was darn good at it, Ben. Darn good at it. Um, yeah, gift of COVID. That's gone. I was a part-time nanny. What really got me into it though is we met around my darkest hour. Um, when I was 24 years old, that's when I started getting sober. A month after I turned 24, and I always say, people help you along, and then so COVID hit. This is 5.5 years later. 5 years later, I lose all my jobs, and the only thing I'm doing is I'm working with a lot of people and talking on the phone for 5-12 hours, helping a lot of other guys stay sober and just work on themselves. And I'm spending all my time on the phone listening to these guys develop more self-esteem, more confidence, go off, move across the country, get big jobs, do great things, show up more as sons, brothers, and just
And
people in their
how's your acting
community.
career going at this point? Yeah.
Oh yeah, how's my acting career going?
Yeah.
I 2019 was my best ever financial year, and 2020 was my worst. Haven't
Ah.
seen a casting director in 2 years. And but I'm spending all this time with gentlemen on the phone, listening and helping them. And I was like, wait a second. It was like, mini light bulb moment. It was like, how do I do this all the time?
Mm.
This is the best part of my day. How can I do this all the time? And dare say, can I get paid for it? Like, you know what I mean? You know? And the beauty of New York is someone knows someone who knows someone who knows that. And it's funny because at this point you're a life coach, but I was in this moment where I really wanted to explore this for Tomas
Mm.
and see. I didn't want anyone else's ideas. The idea was too fresh or whatever. So reached out to a lot of people, found a guy that I really synced up with, talked to a lot of Zoom calls. Who is this guy? What is this program? Did a lot of research on coaching programs,
Mm.
and then made a leap, jumped into a 4-month coaching intensive. And
What how'd you go after coaching though at that point? Like why coaching?
why coaching? Yeah. I it's like
You had lost everything. You're in this place. You're researching stuff online. You're in the middle of COVID.
it's a lot of cliches, right? But the thing that scares me the most is probably the thing that I need to do. And what always kind of scared me was using it anyway, like stuff I've learned in sobriety with other people. I was like, no, but there's no one like what's it called? There's so the self-help, the self-development space is this big. It's infinite,
Mm.
right? I'm
Hmm.
super into like stoicism and Eastern philosophy. I was like, I think about it. This conversation in some way has been had over 2,000 years. What we're talking about, like you plug and play
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z, but this
Right.
conversation has been had for 2,000 years. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's
And
not new.
just having a sense that God, higher power, energy has given me these gifts and talents.
Hmm.
I've always been aware of in acting school, really, like I come to a space, a group of people, and I share all of myself. And I'm just like, hey, what's up? I'm going to be everything. You guys can do what you're going to do. I'm going to be all of me. You're free to join me. No judgment if you don't want to. And I always had this sense that, like, wherever I am, there's a lower depth and I love living in the heart space.
Hmm.
I love living in deep conversations. And then just having an awareness that God's been given me these talents and these gifts to be shared and not hung on to alone in my room. And I love people. I love learning about where we come from, why we are the way we are, where are we going, what interests you. Like I love passion.
Yeah.
I My acting friends, which is why I knew I don't think this is it for me, because I believed every single word about what they wanted. And oh, I love to transform into a character. And it was like, I'd love to know how Tomas would react in these situations.
Hmm.
I heard Jerry Seinfeld is back on Netflix, and I'm like, yes. And I've been watching a lot of comedians in cars getting coffee, his other little show.
Yeah.
And he said, actors love to like disappear. I'm going to paraphrase this incorrectly. Actors love to disappear into other characters. Comedians love to put themselves in those situations. And I was like, I love that. I love to put myself in that situation. And so really just kind of trusting and finally believing that it's okay to follow this truest sense of me. And I love helping people. I love serving people. When I'm in connection with someone else and listening and in this kind of heart space, there's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. You know, I can be on the phone for 7 hours in a day with a couple different people, and I'm like, this is a home run of a
Hmm.
day.
Yeah.
And that a lot of my days, I'm on the phone, Zoom or phone, for 3 to 5 hours a day, and I am fed. I
Yeah.
am ready to just run and just punt. You know what I mean? And that's what led me to coaching. I knew that I'd done acting training and like helping people with monologues and like, oh hey, but like what's behind that for you? Like I just was so interested in the underneath all the time. And then this I think will answer what you're saying. So I start this program. I'm delivering mail. There's a mail right here, and to the mailbox, and I run into a friend of a friend, and we walk 20 minutes, and she's kind of talking at me, and I'm just giving her that space for like 20 minutes, and I say, hey, I'm a life coach. I'm a day in. I'm a life coach. This is what I'm gonna. If you guys know of anyone who would love to experience a conversation with me, I'd love to help. Let me know. And she goes, oh, do you coach friends? And I was like, I would love to coach you, absolutely. I have a coaching call with her, 2 nights later, and
Oh wow.
and I have my first coaching workshop, and then I have a call with her that night, and we're 30 minutes into the call, and I'm, I'm trying to find it, right. It's like when you're coaching, when I'm coaching, it's like this ice sculpture, right. And I'm throwing questions just to like chip away, right. Or it's like this big boulder with all these, and you're just putting in these little stakes. And then sometimes it's a silence, it's a question, and it's just like taking the hammer and the rock just goes whoosh, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and there's no method or reason of what question is it, what silence. It's just like I don't know, it's a momentum, or there's an easiness to finding like I'm gonna open up now.
Yeah.
And I ask her this question.
It's
What I
exactly
ask,
actually what I posted
yeah,
today in my Instagram is just a reminder that everything you need is inside of you.
yeah,
So we're not here to give solutions or answers that you don't already know, but just to pull this out from what's inside of you. That's why I ask always what's resonating along here to see like how are you opening your heart and are you following your dreams?
yeah. I love that. And just to wrap up this little bit here, because this is when I knew. I was like, okay, it's over. This is it. I asked her a question. We're both silent on the phone for 3 minutes, and I'm like, are you? is everything good, Nivi? She's like, yeah, I'm just thinking. And then she starts talking, and it's like a new human has entered the conversation, right? There's just, and she just, and she has this epiphany, this white light just, and fast forward from this call, we start working together for a little bit, for a couple months, and she goes on like a spirit quest. She goes to Guatemala where she has family. She's a photographer, and she'd been making that transition. She gets an artist in residency for 6 weeks at a studio down in Guatemala. She travels South America. She comes back up. She does an art gallery of her work. Just like, bah, right? Just people need permission to like remember how amazing they are and the power they have, right?
Yes.
But so from that call, and that call was an hour long, and I got off that call and I knew, oh my God, this is what I've been searching for in acting. This moment of true human presence and connection and truth. And I got that, for free on a phone call saying, hey, what's up? How are you? Let's get into it. You ready to start? And I knew that if I could do that in an hour with one phone call, I don't have to memorize any lines. I don't have to daydream and how am I emotionally connected to this? No, I just have to show up empty. I just have to show up empty, ask questions, and listen. And I was like, I'm in. Let's go. And then,
Awesome.
Boom,
Yes. I do. That's very
Yeah.
similar, yeah, to why I'm here as well. And I'm so grateful for all the people who are listening right now. I'd love to know what's landing for you and what are you inspired by? Like, what are the and something you said, you said you love living in this heart space and you really love like waking up and just and being with people and that you really couldn't stand just being at home anymore, just sitting on the couch rotting like under the covers. Like you didn't want to, you couldn't hide anymore. You said something to that effect. Like you didn't want to be there anymore. And so what I kind of took from and heard from that is like you had enough of, maybe I don't know if you're feeling sorry for yourself. I don't want to put that in there, but just not living up to your potential and not letting yourself shine. And then you started to allow yourself just to show up and be a space for people and they're shining and then you start to shine. So you actually started to take actions to show up and to say I am enough. And this is actually something I really want to go for. And then you've gone for it 100%.
100%. Yeah, I think what that speaks to me and what's really my center is your intuition, right? And the best example of that, what do we say sometimes is in prayer I'm asking and I'm talking to something, right? And in meditation I'm listening for the answer. And I had this answer in meditation. It was like one line. I was like, oh, okay. And then of course I call my brother to have him co-sign on my epiphany. And I'm like, hey. He goes, well, I hate when you do this, man. Why do you call me when you already have the answer and you want me to co-sign?
Yeah.
And like in his very brother way, he's very intense. I love him. And I hang up and I go, he's so right. I already know. And then it's all of that, like, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? And it's like, nah, you already know. You feel it so deeply. Everything else is the people pleasing, the fear, the what are they to, and the beauty I've had with this business is I had a plan and I talked to my brother too early and he's like, you should do and I was like, I hear you. I'm gonna do what I see and feel, and I didn't say this to him. I'm gonna show you because you can't see it yet. I'm gonna show you what it is. And now, almost a year later, I'm about to essentially go full time. I need more hours. I'm quitting my part-time job and I'm going 100% full time with this.
And you have a new website too, where people can find you.
Tomas Virgadula Coaching .com.
Great.
Literally, I'm probably gonna launch it maybe this week. I'm just gonna do some edits because it's just the next step for me, just leveling up. And I've been
I'll
able to
post that in the
build.
comments for all of you who are looking, and
Yeah.
you can also follow him
Um,
online here.
yeah, please keep posted. I'm gonna probably launch it this weekend. Yeah, it's just time. I've been able to build a really beautiful business with a lot of clients off of messaging people and getting people in phone calls and conversations and just seeing, hey, I don't know if I can help you, but I'd love to see if I can. And what's come out of that is beautiful relationships with friends I haven't talked to in years, and some I work with, some I have dinner with once a month now. You know what I mean? It's just a beautiful way of life that we get to live through this. But that intuition, and that's kind of my biggest philosophy in this is where are you now and where do you want to go? And we think that gap is so big, and I've experienced it in myself, and I've experienced it in those that I've been working with, that gap is so much smaller than we think, and that the answer to that gap is actually in you, because you've made up all the problems, right? So you're going to know all the solutions. And then kind of through the coaching, and I'm sure you do this all the time, through that deep space and work, we just give you the space to come up with those answers that you already know, that maybe you just haven't given yourself permission to execute on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Everyone. It's like smokers know what they're doing
we know. Yeah.
to ourselves before anyone else. My dad used to send me articles. I'm like, Dad, I already know. Um, and it's that own self destruction. So it's being willing to give that up. And sometimes
And
it's programming. Sometimes it's just easier. That's just our go-to. That's what we've attracted partners and people and relationships in our lives that reflect how we feel about ourselves. So if we start letting go of some of that old stuff, we actually might attract some healthier
yeah,
relationships, and we might also have to shed some old skin.
yeah.
Things might change, but guess what? Things are already always fucking changing all the time, whether you want them to or not. So you get
And
to get on the board with
not
it
only
and use
that,
it for your advantage, right? Or use it to shut yourself down.
you mean, you said programming, right? I think it's always programming.
Yeah.
I was having this. I've got this story, right? I could never make it as an actor. I've got too many syllables in my name. Tom Cruise, Matt Damon, Ben Curtis. I was like, what do I have?
Pare down from
John
Benjamin.
Leguizamo. Like, that was
You
it.
could have been Tom Dula. You
You know,
know,
you
I
know.
mean, you could, yeah.
But no,
No, I
I
feel
love
you.
my name. It's
People told
my,
me Benjamin Curtis won't fit on a marquee.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
feel
but
you.
but I was thinking about that, like Tomas Virgadula. I'm gonna correct people how I say my name till I die. But the thing is, then I looked at my clients. My clients are Brazilian. I have a non-binary client, people's with Reyes and Infante, like last names, and I was like, oh, cool. I I can be something that other people can't see in themselves.
Mm.
Like, and they can see that in, like, oh, I want to work with this guy, Tomas Virgadula. Like, I had to reframe what I thought was a weakness is actually my greatest strength, is because I am who I am. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be Ben
Yes.
Curtis. I'm not going to be Dylan Smith. I'm Tomas Virgadula. And that's why I can work with, Brazilian clients and people with Spanish last names and this and that, because they're like, oh, it's not this and that.
Yeah.
So, and I just had to literally, I looked at that, and this describes my last year. Be like, oh, that's not a weakness.
Yes.
That's my ball game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
Yes.
me. What's up?
Yes.
Oh
It's all
man.
about that. I mean, that's yeah. Same thing here. When I got my sensitivity could be my superpower, and here we
Yeah.
are trying to be all these other people. Especially as actors, it's really easy. We've learned to step in other people's places. So if you're learning to step into yourself and follow your own role, that can be scary and take some, exploration and some trial and error. But ultimately, you do have a gift that no one else has been given. So if you're trying to follow someone else, like there's even there's an Instagram face now, right? So our
Mm-hmm.
culture's been so inundated with social media that young girls are actually getting Botox as young as 11 now. So
Oof.
even if that's okay, I'm not totally against it, but if you're doing it and your kids know about it, think about what message you're telling them, that as they're born, their skin is not, or it's okay to do all that stuff, right? But at some point, you're going to have a face that's not yours, and you're gifted with things, and those lines show wisdom and beauty, right? But we've been programmed to think beauty has to look a certain way. So there's actually already people creating and changing their whole face to look like what they're seeing on Instagram, like the implants here, the lifted here, the raised here,
Yeah.
the bigger lips, the smaller nose, and all this stuff that's lies. It's made up, right? And so with that, we can literally destroy it and create beauty in some other way.
I on that, I love, see right here. I mean, this is my Marilyn Monroe, right? A little
Yeah.
birthmark. My abuelo, my grandfather, has the exact same birthmark, the exact same place on his
Wow.
neck. And then right here, man, look at this big gap. You see that? I
I
got it
love it.
fixed. I got it fixed with braces. Thank you, my mother and father. And I'm a Patriots fan, right? But I remember growing up watching Michael Strahan beat the Patriots, the Giants, and I was like, that dude, I love his energy, right? And he's got I think his are out to here, his big gap. And I got the gap back because I was like, you know what? Everyone's got straight white teeth. Who doesn't have a little gap? Let's
That's
like,
right.
what's more iconic of my character of like, y'all, let's calm down. Life's not that serious. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like, what says that more than this big I almost swore, this big birthmark on my neck and a little gap in the teeth.
You can swear here. It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I
great.
feel you.
And I thought of that when I was like 15. I was like, nah, let's be a little wacky, you
Yeah.
know?
And we need
Why
to
not?
remind each other of that. Right? Yeah, same thing. Like I won braces. My teeth are all kinds of crooked in there. And
Mm-hmm.
my sister said, actually, I think your teeth are cool. It what makes you unique. And I'm thinking, what if my sister had never said that? Because every kid around me was getting braces, and as much as it sucked for them, I thought their teeth looked better. But
Mm-hmm.
it's all made up.
Yeah.
So Jolt Bonnier brought up a comment here. We don't really have time to go into it, but he did say that you mentioned, you talked about non-binary and how to address this stuff with gender, subject of gender with individual friends who reject the subject of venom. And it's a hot topic. So yeah, that's awesome and powerful. We're actually speaking beyond gender here. And if your friends have a problem with gender, my advice would be to have them look at that and lead by example and question it. Just ask questions, challenge what you feel strongly about, and ask your friends who identify as non-binary how they feel. Like, how can you support them? Forget the people that like don't believe in it. That's their problem, right? How can you support the people that are doing something for the cause? So where are you putting your energy? Is it into trying to change someone's mind, or is it into nurturing, planting more seeds? What do you think, Tomas?
I think it's a great conversation I always have, and but I believe in love, and I
Mm.
believe that, the true friends, I've told this guy over here with his 4-month baby and through the other wall, Andy, some stuff about me that I was like, well, it's been a great run. This is my dude, but this is the thing that ends our relationship. And I say the thing, he goes, cool. Well, I guess we won't be doing that anymore. And it's like, moving on. Like, here's my
Wow.
grand pronouncement. Hey, man, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I know that's in my head, that's the basis of our relationship and how we identify each other. And clearly, everything we've been doing over the past 10, 15 years has been a lie. And there's nothing real underneath this, And I
Mm-hmm.
say that, and he looked me in the face. It was like, cool. And a minute later, he was making a joke about it. And that's a best friend who loves you.
Yeah.
Oprah says this about Gail, right? Because she's questioning all the time about how do you make that relationship work, is find a friend who takes joy in your successes, and
Mm.
find those people who take absolute joy in your successes. And I've got so many of those people who are just on team Tomas, and I'm on team them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And the ones who don't want to take joy in it, through no judgment, as much as I cannot have judgment, and they'll move away, or things will fade.
It's there, and it's usually about them, right?
Yeah, it's our
Uh,
own stuff.
yes, that's it right there. It's because I'm so glad you said that. I had friends that were so jealous when I first got the Dell commercials, and here I was moving to New York to become an actor. I took a huge risk, My family took on all this debt, all these things we didn't feel like we had. I was breaking all these norms. My grandfather told me I was like, shaming the family by moving so far away from home and going to expensive school rather than a free one. And, I really had to fight a lot of things. And then I got success, and it's like all my relationships changed. Everyone treated me differently.
Yeah.
And that was really challenging for me, 19, 20, 21 years old. It's really confusing. So I can understand why anytime we have success, it's so uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to outgrow your own people. To outgrow my parents' scarcity mindset around money has been terrifying and really challenging to dismantle. But it was only challenging because it was so deeply programmed. And I finally have been able to throw that away. And that's how I finally started making more money and had permission to go after my dreams that way.
Yeah.
But finding friends who really revel in my success too has been huge for me. Because no matter how successful you are, there's always that self esteem issue and the trying to fill the void, that hole with external validation. But success comes and goes, and the greatest thing you can give yourself, just to champion, to trumpet what you said, Tomas, is to surround your people who see and love the great in you, who love that about you. If you want a relationship, if you have one with a partner who's not proud of your success, then what are you wasting your time for? And that's probably again about them, so you don't have to take it personally. But you can surround yourself with people who treat you however you want, and it's really your choice.
The greatest way that I can be of service to everyone is self-love. And the more that I do that as deep as I can in all my imperfection and all my strengths and weaknesses, I show up more full for you. You know what I mean? And because there's so much of that comparing going on. And the one thing I'll speak on, because it's like crypto, right? And here's the point. Oh my, if I invested then I could have X, da, 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 da. And then I look at it and I go, if I invested then, and then all I would be thinking about is, oh my goodness, I could have invested this much more. And the emotional upheaval that would give me would take so much of my energy than just being where I'm at. And I'm glad, okay, now I, do it here. So I'm like, it's just kind of like taking the same thing and just flipping the lens and going like, it's all the stuff, right? It's acceptance and self-love and just being like, whew, I'm glad that works for you. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't, that can't work for me, but I'm
Yeah.
so glad that that's your thing.
Yeah.
Because that fits you really well.
Yes. Amen. And so if you are listening or watching, this is resonating and you actually could use some guidance, you're like, well, how the hell do I find my thing? How do I get the tools to support myself? They're inside of you, but Tomas and I are welcome to guide you. So you can find him at tomasvirgadulacoaching.com. What's the best way for people to reach you right now?
Yeah, Tomas Virgadula at gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Would love to have a conversation.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So his website's there. And if you're looking for more tools, I want to share one more thing with you all that I'm really, really excited about. This is coming up in just a couple weeks. So this is a workshop I'm doing with Daniel Tuttle, who's an amazing coach, healer, and intuitive. And this is called the Renaissance Men. It's a workshop. I actually did it a few months ago on the new moon, on the full moon. It went so well that we're doing it again. So this is a really awesome, safe space. If you've never been in one of my containers, it's fun. It's full of love and inspiration. And it's a place where we're just going to talk about what it means to be a man today. We're going to have, Daniel and I are going to do a presentation. We're going to have a Q&A. We're going to have a healing, a guided meditation. And we're really going to blow the roof off of dismantling all the lies you've been told about these things that keep you small and creating new possibilities and transforming your life right now. Immediately. Everyone who's come has had great things to say, and that was really powerful for them. So we have a few spots left. The link is in my link tree and all of my bios. I'm also going to put it here in the comments below. So if you're looking for places, Tomas, you're also invited. I would love to have you join.
I know. I'm gonna look at my schedule. This looks great.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. It's only 90 minutes, and Daniel is just amazing, fabulous, hilarious, super insightful human that I love and I work with every day. So I do his daily meditations and downloads every morning with him live. He does it. I listen as a participant. And that's all on the provocativeintuitive.com. But you can learn more about him through my website and that link. So this is just a shout out for, and there's tons of free tools on my website and meditations and my ebook, my like 5-step manifestation manual, all these great tools for healing, for creating the life of your dreams and stepping in your heart. And again, if anything has resonated today, please comment, please tag someone in your life who could use it. The dog heard it.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah, tag someone who could use it, because that's how we're going to help these messages of healing, positive inspiration, and healing for masculinity. That's how we're going to get them out. So please comment, please share with a friend, and thank you so much for listening. Please follow Tomas, shoot him an email. We'll be here next Monday and every Monday. And Tomas, I'm so grateful for your time and dropping in with me today. It was such a gift to have you here today.
Yeah, Ben, this has been everything, man. I love to fill my day with beautiful conversations. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. And like I said to everyone in the chat, TomasVirgadulaCoaching.com. That website will be up within a couple of days. And you can please send me an email, TomasVirgadula@gmail.com. Would love to chat. Ben, this has been incredible, more than I could have hoped for. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity,
do it again.
Brother.
Yeah, actually, I have a surprise. I'm not...
Dr. Melendez.
Yeah, there you go. Your mom is right here. That'd be weird. I'm actually launching my own podcast really soon. It's been in the works for years.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you the name of it yet, but you will probably learn more. Keep your eyes peeled on social media this afternoon, and I'll be sending out an announcement about that very soon. So if you're not already on my email list, do so. Again, thank you so much, Tomas. There's so much wisdom here. You can get in touch with him in the comments. Everything is right there. If no one told you they love you today, I love you.
I love you, brother.
I love you, Tomas. Thank you for helping me heal the wounded masculine, get us all on the right path, and following our hearts and dreams.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone who was here. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.